those of you who are watching, my name is Pavel Borecký, and I'm a co-convener of Applied Anthropology Network in Europe. And today we are sitting here with Rikke Ulk, founder and director of Antropologerne in Denmark. But as Rikke, I assume, will explain to us, Antropologerne is increasingly global enterprise.
Yeah.
So Rikke in 2003 founded and has ever since led the anthropological consultancy company, The Anthropologists, which is the translation of Antropologerne, right?
Yeah.
At the time of its establishment, Antropologerne was the first anthropological consultancy in Denmark and Europe. So please tell us first a little bit about your life story and your philosophy that brought you to anthropology and translated later into Antropologerne company.
Well, I'm Rikke. I'm a woman. I'm Danish, and I'm also an anthropologist. I think to me, anthropology is kind of a possibility to blend or merge some personal traits with some professional ambitions. So the personal traits is, of course, rounded through a life story, and I am usually seen as exactly energetic, positive, communicating. Also, in my trajectory, I have been mobilizing and engaging a lot of different projects. So I'm 50 years old now, and in the 80s, I was a teenager, and I was doing loads of engagement, political, peace movements, local policy, school politics, everything. So it kind of rounded my personality to be discussing, discovering, and also debating and creating change for the better. And then if I go up to my 20s, I was starting to actually study anthropology due to two things. One was in my teenage years, I broke with this very, very big political engagement in a year doing, exchange student year in Brazil. So I discovered this being very new and very novel and very kind of uncontextualized individual, having to understand and learn and respect a new culture for a whole year. So it was a very huge personal experience, and I enjoyed it a lot. And it was also personally difficult when you are 16 and 17, coming from Denmark to Brazil. There are lots of cultural differences. So, but it really kind of shaped my life in the sense that I was eager to understand and learn with people. So to me, anthropology is an opportunity to not only observe and describe, but really like engage and learn and also involve people in what you find out. So yeah, so that was my 20s. And then I became a mother, and from 2000 and on, I started to run this company. And that shaped, of course, also my way of doing applied anthropology outside academia. So I hired other anthropologists and also later designers to do both insights, learning about the world, and change, engaging and really like contributing. And then as I evolved the 10th from 2010 and on to now, actually, I think I evolved as an experienced professional and also as a leader. I shared a lot of things, and that's when I started to actually join these communities, also the professional communities, to kind of help other people and to learn from other people and to be still inspired as an academic, because I'm not that much back in academia. Of course, I go sometimes to lectures and PhDs and read, But to me, meeting with other skilled applied anthropologists is really energizing. And now I'm turning 50, and I think that I'm about to become a pioneer in the local global way of creating change by walking the talk and doing also more volunteer work where you live.
In your title and in several places in your text, you talk about co-creating change, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm thinking about this expression, to me, and excuse me for that, let's be a little bit, critical perhaps. It sounds as a buzzword today, co-creating change. And do you feel the same, or is it just me? If it's both of us, how does it come to be that this expression is used so often in public debate, in industry and academia?
Yes, I think it's mostly you who has this. Of course, it's a buzzword, and every buzzword is terrible. It's fluffy, it's used wrongly, but if you look into social change, organizational change, climate change, it really needs a lot of people coming together, a change in attitude, a change in action, both the ideal, the real. A lot of people need to move together. So this is co-creation. If you go beyond the buzzword, I think it's deeply true that you cannot make a change without involving a lot of different aspects of life and different groups of people and different perspectives, because change takes a lot. It's culture, it's all our habits, it's our way of thinking. So it is co-created, whether you like the word or not. It is something we do together with people. And now I'm really glad that we also now conceive more the planet and the climate and nature. So it's not only like human-centered change, but also like planet or planet-centric approach in a way. But it is something we do together, and that's why co-creation is actually both a good means to an end, but it's also a good goal, that it should be co-created. It should not be a state or a market or the civil society by itself, because you need all the elements to make change. So to me, it's not only a buzzword, it's actually deeply true that it is co-created, and it needs a lot of people to change.
Yeah, I get it. And I think, in my understanding, you deeply believe that the anthropologists, they have something to offer here as translators.
Exactly.
But perhaps even more, we should be willing to be mobilizers as well, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because we have a method and also a theoretical background for exactly showing that it needs both actions and also conventions, and it really needs like a change of insight, but also a change of the way we live and the way we do things. And that's what anthropology is very much about, to go out, to try out new things, to engage in how can this social service improve, how can this product improve, how can this volunteer organization create more meaning or have more, volunteer visiting friends. If you need to kind of change anything, you will start by understanding what are the motivations and what are the barriers for this to improve and to be better. And that's where we have a method and also a theoretical understanding of this not being just numbers or strategy, but this really needs to be built into the tangible worlds also. The way we meet up the way we do a meeting is very much influencing on how people would go out and behave differently later on. So I think we have a key to actually do change with people, and now also with consideration of nature, climate, planet, because we have this complex, not one truth, this complex understanding of exactly that things are co-created with a lot of interest and a lot of power and a lot of stakeholders and a lot of themes that should be brought together and then kind of directed.
Okay.
So to me, it's directing social change that is so beautiful in doing applied anthropology, because we help directing by showing what is at stake and then by involving people in getting there, trying to do something. So the action is really part of our way of working and also of applied anthropology.
Can you little bit more expand on the way you work? What is your favorite method, or what makes your approach special? Just shortly.
Yeah, shortly. We have, when I spoke in 2014 in Paluda, Italy, on the Why the World Needs Anthropologists, I brought 4 principles: go out and in and out of the field and meet people, hand out, try to show what is at stake, bring tangibles. If you look for a service, then have a prototype with you, or have maps and have cards and associate. Bring something, also your thesis out in the field, so that you will have the feedback from the people of interest. So go out, hand out. Then when you try to analyze what you learn from this, you will try out the new things. For instance, a new way of receiving unemployed people at a social service. So you will try out meeting them in the doorway and making it much more clear the process they would go through, and you will try out to implement change. And then our 4th is stand out. So go out, hand out, try out, and then stand out. And that's where I feel that we as anthropologists should also be ambitious in our way of, shortcutting or breaking with the normal. We should really enable our collaborators or clients to do something that is different, that stands out. And sometimes it should be a little more radical than what will be the new normal, because that's how you break with normal, radical, and then you end up in the middle, like the new normal. So you will try out for some weeks a new way of doing things, and then you will end up standing out. And that is also standing out when you communicate and when you try to engage people in empathizing with this problem and your new solution. So this is a way to affect change. Okay. And besides those 4, my last one is reach out. My international network is called Reach. I've been a part since 2008. We are 20 partners from all over the world doing design research. So some are anthropologists and some are designers using ethnographic methods. But we work worldwide on this reaching out and trying to understand what is change and what is considerate change. How can you really impact and influence the world? So that's my 5th, reach out. And that is both international reach out, but it's also a message to anthropologists to reach out for other disciplines, for filmmakers, for designers, for accountants, or for strategic advisors. You need not to do it all by yourself. Please go and ask for help, so that you can be the best in your professional being, and then being lifted up or helped by others in your way of doing applied anthropology. Never be self-sustained. It's not good.
Brilliant. I have one more question. And you really sum it up nicely. Maybe I don't even have to ask, but because there are some glimpses in your answers already. But I will ask nevertheless.
Yeah.
In your text, you talk about tensions between working inside and outside academia.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what kind of tension do you have in mind? Where do they come from, and are they productive or not really?
Yes. I feel that as applied anthropologist or as consultant, you have a client and you engage with a lot of different people out in the real world. And as an academic, you have an academic community and you definitely have a lot of impact on the world, but mostly on the academical world, because your texts are so theoretical that it takes a lot of discipline to understand why this is a new Habermas or why this is a new way of using Bourdieu or something. So I feel that there is a difference in kind of relevance, because as applied consultant, I'm asked to help people who really want to kind of be able to improve either maps or services or products or societal change. So there is a very direct request for not only recommendation and insight, but actually for change. These people have a problem that they cannot solve themselves. So they want more volunteer visitors, and I'm there to help how to mobilize more volunteer visitors to lonely people. And, and I'm also there to help to improve hearing aid, whatever kind of project we engage in. But there's also someone wanting something specific. And our task as applied anthropologists would be to perspectivize and also be critical, blah, 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 but also to help these people from the inside of an organization to get in contact with the outside world. And one tension is time. In academia, you usually have long-term field work, like half a year or 18 months, or it's kind of a blueprint or an approval of this being profound and good. And in my daily life, we have like very short term, I call them field visits, because they're not field work. I'm not there for half a year, but I may be there for 2 months, 5 hours per day, or whatever the project is scaled to. But I find that the academic world, they try to kind of tell that us out in the real world, that we have this envy of real anthropology being done in the academic world with long-term field work. But I'm not sure. I hope and I see, and my colleagues, they are very proud to do this applied, more kind of focused, still open-ended, still engaging, still involving, but really like short-term field visit as one method. So I think this tension is one of them. We accuse each other. You have too little time, you have too much time, you are relevant to a lot of people, you're only relevant to some. But also the academic world would, when I started out in 2003, there was a lot of resistance towards helping commercially. And that's also a difference between those two. The one is science, and it's kind of it's almost philanthropical, and the other one is commercial and only about making money. And that's also a tension that I think needs to be dissolved, because of course I think we should earn money. The academics do too, but I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to make this insight and change happen actually to people needing it. So I think we do different jobs, and that we should, instead of confronting each other, kind of learn from each other.
Brilliant. It was really a pleasure to meet you today, and I see you soon, hopefully around at Wider World Anthropologists or elsewhere.